Why gay fairy tales are suddenly trending. We saw it with the massive success of Heated Rivalry, which honestly inspired me to be even more delulu. Recently, we also got this Pillion movie that tells the story of a very shy and awkward boy who sings in a family choir and out of nowhere gets hit on by this hot, dominant biker who is engaged in business development, marketing, and sales activities, if you know what I mean. I think genre-wise, this film should also be classified as a fantasy. And what's interesting is a huge part of the audience isn't even gay men. This is happening at a time when right-wing politics are on the rise, homophobia feels louder again, and the world doesn't exactly feel safer for queer people. So in this video, I will discuss what these two stories have in common and why people, and especially straight girls, crave gay fairy tales. By the way, my name is Mutali, and on this channel I inspire queer people to live their best lives by talking about relationships and authenticity through pop culture and personal stories. Subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram where I post daily. Without further ado, let's start the video. When I say gay fantasies, I don't mean bad writing. I mean stories that feel intentionally idealized. So in Heated Rivalry, we get two elite hockey players, intense chemistry, emotional growth, and a deeply satisfying happy ending. In Pillion, we have instant attraction, where a weaker character gets protection and leaves a fantasy of being chosen exactly as he is. Both stories have moderate, well-behaved boy, who is of course a bottom. In Heated Rivalry, it's also a waging guy. And another character is that white, masculine, dominant top. And it feels like the relationship develops further only when the top decides that. Does this mean that everyone just wishes to have this kind of decisive partner next to them? But while Heated Rivalry is vanilla AF, Pillion was certainly not, and I will talk about my impression of it at the end of the video. Anyway, if you describe these plots out loud, they do sound like fanfiction. And yet, grown adults are obsessed. So, what's going on? What's going on? One of the biggest criticisms of gay romance is that it's not realistic. But when we talk about fiction, is realism even a point? For decades, gay stories were realistic in the worst way, like involving some tragedy and secrecy, like Brokeback Mountain, punishment, like in The Imitation Game, death, like in Pose or It's a Sin, loneliness, like in Call Me By Your Name. And I mean, it's super important to address these issues in art, right? Like, we need the stories to be told, even if they are uncomfortable. But sometimes people just want something fun, exciting. People want to be delulu, and I fully support that. We gays and queers, we need to learn to understand that we have a chance for a better future, and we can also create it ourselves. Especially now, when we live in a world where right-wing politics are gaining power again, and queer rights feel fragile. Even my country, Kazakhstan, fell into these conservative trends and enforced a law against LGBTQ propaganda. This is why I had to move to Europe, because I literally do this propaganda thing online. And I understand that in moments like this, people don't just want representation, they also want some kind of relief. In gay fairy tales, we can experience scenarios where we are desirable, lovable, and we are in a safe environment. And to some extent, it is an escapism. But you can also look at it as an emotional regulation, especially when all you see on the news is how humans are literally being anti-human in all ways possible. But why do straight women love gay romance so much? First of all, it's safety, right? Like, women can enjoy intimacy without being objectified. There is also no other woman that they can compare themselves with. It's like experiencing everything the gay male characters feel, but at the same time witnessing it from a distance. Another reason is emotional availability. These stories often show men actually communicating, While in straight relationships, it's usually women who carry this emotional labor on their shoulders. But in gay male media, women can see men choosing each other, being soft and strong, expressing their emotions, being vulnerable. This is exactly what Connor's story said when he was asked about the reasons why women love this kind of story so much. And he said that it's because they're tired of straight men. And finally, there is no misogyny. They don't need to worry about all the systematic pressure, situations where a woman is dependent on a man and suffers from different kinds of unpleasant things. There's no power imbalance tied to patriarchy, no typical gender scripts like a good girl and a bad boy. Something not so obvious is that there is also no pregnancy anxiety, just desire and two equal partners. But for queer people, especially gay men, these stories also do something really important. They help us develop healthier imagination. Thanks to media like this, we get used to the idea that it's possible to love without punishment, that we can engage in intimacy without shame, that masculinity without violence actually exists. You may, of course, disagree with me and say that these stories create unrealistic expectations, and it's super understandable. I, as openly gay male, am very critical when I consume gay media because if straight women are happy to not compare themselves with anyone when watching heated rivalry, we gays actually do that. And when we see these super attractive, successful queer men having amazing sex and relationships, we can feel sad. We can feel like, when is it my turn? We might think that we are not getting it because we are not as good looking, not as successful. But honestly, I believe that we need depictions like this too, because they help us practice getting out of the limitations that we've been programmed to by society for just loving not the way straights do. And after seeing so many sad stories with tragic endings, I think we deserve a little fantasy. So at the end of the day, we all just want love, right? And I think it's amazing. It's so wonderful that despite all the atrocities committed by people with power, despite that feeling of hopelessness, some of us are still open to welcome love to their hearts and that we have that love to give. We haven't lost all of it. As a gay man, it was also so surprising to see how other gay guys also dream of having a big love, marrying and having a husband, because I am that kind of gay. And sometimes it just feels like no one wants to commit anymore, that everyone is either polyamorous or in an open relationship slash marriage or cheating on their partner. And sometimes it feels like it's just impossible to get out of this constant loop of hookups that actually drain you. So seeing a story like the one Scott and Kip had is really so refreshing. Yes, I know that it's so obvious that it was written by a straight woman and she clearly never experienced what it's like to be a gay man. And her writing is giving lesbians, not the typical gay men we see in Grindr every day. But you know what? Like, I want to believe that this kind of gays exists. Like, hyper romantic, devoted, ready to challenge themselves for their partner who they love so much. I mean, it's just so attractive. And as I promised, let's talk about Pillion a little more. When I saw a trailer, I thought it'd be something fun and playful, but it ended up being such an uncomfortable watch. The whole movie, I was just waiting for it to end, honestly. Like, it's just so unbearable to witness people being mistreated. This is why, for example, I couldn't finish Boots. I mean, you could say that, taking into account the nature of their relationship in Pillion, that bottom boy participated in everything willingly, but the dominant guy never asked him if he wanted to be a part of that kind of relationship. Like, he just told him to do stuff and that's it. This is why seeing how the biker punishes that poor boy completely sucked. I mean, I can appreciate this movie as an artistic contribution for the specific representation. I also really love the soundtrack. I have the main theme in my daily Spotify playlist. They also had this bad feeling song in one montage that I heard in The Worst Person in the World, which is in top 5 of my favorite movies ever. But besides that, this film made me hate Alexander Skarsgård. And I find the story to be just very uninspiring and actually annoying. What do you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments. By the way, follow me on Letterboxd, where I rank movies and create lists. I mean, if you need some movie recommendations. Well, that's it for now. I mean, while I was shooting, the sun came out. Please give this video a thumbs up. It will help me reach a new audience. And subscribe to my channel. Somewhere here is another video for you to check out. And I will see you soon. Bye!